Okay, wanted to hire a voice actor and have a beautiful high budget explainer video, but I figured I just want to get this vision statement out to the world about what I'm trying to accomplish here and what I am working to accomplish here. So, if you've followed the channel a little bit, you maybe started to see that I'm working on a distraction free phone. So, I started to write out just sort of work on this statement. So I want to get it out and just tell me what you think about this. So, our mission is to create technology that empowers people to reclaim their time and focus, free from the constant pull of distractions. Imagine a world where your devices can help you stay centered, not overwhelmed. We're starting with a distraction free phone, and our ultimate goal is to build an entire ecosystem that transforms your TV, tablet, and computer to support a focused, intentional life. So it sort of starts with the phone. And right now, well, I'll continue on this speech so it's not so random. But the phone is sort of the center of the ecosystem because most people have a cell phone they carry with them every day. But when you go home, you sit in front of your television, and there's either smart TVs or there's devices that are connected to your televisions, various sizes and shapes, um, that supply all sorts of content onto your television. And this is all like, Wi-Fi, internet connected, right? And so creating a distraction-free environment here, it's not just about the phone, it's also devices that connect to the television that reduce the flow of distractions. It's a tablet where you can read things that you like to read without distractions. And it's also a computer that's the same thing. So, and then there's other devices in your house too. There's your lights. That's a light bulb, etc., etc. But the point is, I'll continue on with the speech here. If you're tired of being tired, of endlessly scrolling in bed, feeling disconnected from friends right in front of you, or instinctively reaching out for your phone at the slightest hint of boredom, do you ever look back on your weekends and realize you spent most of it glued to your devices? Uh, Consuming endless content instead of accomplishing your most basic tasks, or maybe you have big goals that you're trying to accomplish. These are all too common pain points of modern smartphone use, in my opinion. Our distraction free phone, and ultimately tech, is designed to help you break free from these habits, offering an experience that supports a more intentional, fulfilling life. We're beginning this journey offering our custom built operating system that is based on a reliable open source version of Android. If you see other devices in the world, a lot of them are sort of based on that foundation of open source Android, and then they built a custom experience on top of that. So it's a well-known architecture. And we're starting with modern phone hardware as well, so it's reliable, high quality. This ensures a familiar user interface and features like fingerprint unlock, an easy to use keyboard, a modern messaging experience, and a great camera. However, embracing a distraction free intentional experience means making conscious choices about what devices, your devices can and cannot do. So you won't find a typical app store or a typical web browser because convenience at your fingertips often leads to overwhelm. And that goes for all these devices. We're starting with the phone. Where'd I go? We believe that giving up certain modern conveniences, we believe that by giving up certain modern conveniences, you're gaining something far more valuable: peace of mind, focus, and a life lived with intention. For those considering a switch to a flip phone, our approach offers a better alternative, maintaining essential features while ensuring that everything on your device is designed with purpose. This is just the first step, the phone, step number one. And we're committed to refining this experience and down the line developing custom hardware that's built to minimize distractions and enhance intentional living. We know it's a big challenge, but we're not there yet, but with your support and feedback, we're confident we can get closer every day. So I want to describe a little bit this, we're starting with existing hardware, but ideally the phone would look something like this. So if we take, here is a Palm Pre. This is a similar size to the original iPhone. Originally these were developed so that your thumb would be able to go to the top of the device and then over to the side comfortably. So the size of the original iPhone and devices like this were actually designed around that purpose. So, we've gone to much larger phones. This is not even one of the larger ones. But the goal, if it was able to create custom hardware, would be to have a smaller, not super small, but somewhat smaller device, not this small. And also having some curved edges so that it feels more natural in the hand. So also no front-facing camera, and either a very sort of retro style camera on the back or no camera on the back as well, because there's a lot of fun that can be had with buying a literal retro video camera and having more intention with that. It's just a different experience. So the other thing about this phone is somewhere on the back, well, I would like to maintain a headphone jack, speakers. This is pretty basic stuff. Headphone jack is not necessarily basic, but I'd like to maintain a headphone jack. But I'd also like to do something interesting with music. So there is this idea of a mini music, I don't want to call it a record because it's not a record, but a mini, and I wouldn't call it a mini disc because that's also a term, but a very actual small miniature size record that would have your favorite band, maybe not your favorite, depending on licensing and all this, but where you could utilize these, and then somewhere on the device would be a place to insert these to be able to listen to music, which I just think is a fun little concept where there's this sort of physical media. And there's a horn going off in the background, my apologies. Component to this, because a lot of this has to get to do with slowing things down. And so, Like this is not going to have like typical, like I don't envision any Spotify, any Pandora, any of these just like where it's fishing just random content to you. This is about intention. So intentionally getting something in advance, listening to that and enjoying that process. Um, but this is like a dream, and this would be only would happen if it got major funding. So, which is not the case yet. Um, and it would take years to develop. So, like this is like the starting point on the phone. Let's see. Our approach isn't about rejecting modern technology, but offering an alternative that aligns with intentional living. We recognize there is a place for devices that do everything all the time, and many of our customers might choose our distraction free phone, for example, as a supplement to their primary device. Whether you use it full time or you might just use it on nights and weekends. So let's say maybe for work you need to have a smartphone that does everything all the time. You can leave that at work with you, bring this home on the nights and weekends, or however you choose. Some people will choose to go full time. I was one of those people who went full time on devices that are not smart. So, it's going to be different for everybody depending on their needs. But, and maybe people will try it and then move to a full time when they get comfortable, whatever. Let's see. Our goal is to provide an option for those who want to stay connected without being constantly overwhelmed by information overload. It's about having the choice to step away from the endless stream of data and scrolling and regain control over your digital life. As we look forward to the future, our goal is to expand our ecosystem. I'm like losing my blazer. With features designed to help maintain meaningful connection and focus on what truly matters with minimal reliance on your devices. While most internet connected devices open the floodgates to an unending stream of information, we aim to provide a more serene experience, like a relaxing pond compared to a raging river of information that will sweep you away before you know it. Months and years have gone by, or you've just lost them. Our approach centers on offering only the essential content, thoughtfully curated to help you stay centered and focused. So, where everybody else is creating entertainment devices, I'm focusing on creating distraction free, focused devices. We're committed to developing a platform that encourages you to spend less time on your devices, allowing you to engage more fully with the world around you by minimizing distractions and providing a simpler digital experience. We believe you can achieve greater clarity, connection, and purpose in your life if you can reduce distraction and limit the flow of information. So, in a way that you want. So, you can see it kind of went on and off script here a little bit. Certainly would be useful to have a voice actor and someone to create these slides to go along with this type of speech. But as you can see, it's just really like the phone is the main thing. This is really the first step. Probably the second step here is going to be the TV operating system. So I think of this whole thing as like an operating system. It's an OS. And so phone, television, and then you can start to pick and choose what devices that you want to remove for your life. Like for me, for example, with the distraction-free phone, I can get rid of my smartphone. With the distraction-free television, I might choose to get rid of some of the streaming boxes and things like that. Because what I've actually been doing is buying things like Blu-rays and DVDs and physical disc games. I find that having these type of things, you choose to do things one at a time. So like with a Blu-ray, you have to pre-select it, so it's already gone through a process of decision making whether or not you want this content in your life, as opposed to just browsing whatever's available on Netflix or whatever, and many other streaming services. So you've already had some discernment here, and then when you pick it off the shelf, it's an experience. It's kind of fun, actually. It holds some value, which is good. And then when you play it, you play one at a time. So just sort of, it's going on a process of slowing things down, reducing just the constant browsing, and also like reducing, like significantly reducing decision making. Decision making. Because when you're scrolling through social media, when you're scrolling through streaming services, all of those things are constant decisions. Do I want to watch this? Do I want to not? Swiping right, am I swiping left? Am I going to keep scrolling? Or am I going to click? Am I going to like? Am I going to, like, it's just decision after decision after decision. Or here's an ad. Do I want this or do I not want this? It's just an extreme amount of decision making that is coming into our homes. I mean, this is how, like, these are home devices. Okay, so having everything in the world available on these devices that we carry with us and in our homes as well, I think it's just, for me, it's just too much. It's just too much distraction and decision making. So I want to support physical media, perhaps create some physical media through this, so that one of the ideas is that you could, how to say this? I've experimented a lot. If you've listened to my podcast, Minimalisttech, then I've talked a lot about, like going without home internet and that sort of thing. Done all these kind of experiments, and I think that the answer is like somewhere not in the middle, but there is some internet and some technology, but it's just in a way that's tasteful. So like here, I'm referring to like an e-reader. Okay, and then there's also things like a tablet. Like imagine having a tablet where there's like things to help you get organized and creative, and then there's no distractions. Like there's just none at all. To me, this is a dream. Same thing as having the internet, where it's essentially like blocking out all of this incoming distraction, and it's just letting in what you intend. So I assume like people have goals in their life. Maybe it's family and friends, personal connections, perhaps it's building a business or accomplishing some goal, climbing a mountain, or whatever. So we only have a limited amount of time in our days. I think the average smartphone use, what I looked up, was like something like 4.5 hours, something like that. Don't quote me on this, but it's like this is just phone use. So if we could reduce phone use by a little over 2 hours, I think it's like something like 2.13 or something a day, by having less distractions just on this one device, you end up getting back something like 30 full days every year. And if you're a power user on your smartphone, or someone who's highly distracted, and maybe that number is more like 8 hours or whatever, this number could easily double. Maybe we can save you 2 months every year or more. And it's kind of like bridging that gap between like a phone like this, where it does really nothing, but you need a little bit more. But it's not a typical smartphone where it's just way too much. So I figured I'll put this out there as is and sort of continue this process. So as you can see, like I've sort of commented on this on some of the comments, but it's like, if you want to help with this, you don't need to just be a software developer. Like, if you're an animator or a voice actor, or if you're a designer, there's plenty of like little things to create with this. Like just on the designing part alone, it's like creating custom icons, creating a custom like boot animation. Of course, there's a website and plenty other stuff that's related to all of this. I'm sort of working on this slowly as time allows me to do it. But if folks want to help out, then things will move faster. There also are applications that I'm developing custom for this as well. So there are some specific programming languages that I'm utilizing for that. I'm just gonna say, I guess for now, that like Python is always a fun thing, but that's not the only language. There are others. There are more specific languages, so this isn't like necessarily. I could explain that more if you're on the software side of things. Um, yeah, explainer videos, fun stuff. I just think that this whole thing, I mean, this can even extend to, your car. This is my beautiful car here. To the infotainment system as well. Because a lot of this, like, now when you're sitting in your car and here's your steering wheel, you're sitting next to like a big old touchscreen. And this thing has, again, all this distracting stuff as app stores, and you could literally watch movies on this stuff and everything else. It's like, just give me a simple, focused experience that's focused on just the driving, right? It's my little steering wheel here. This logo. Focused experience, right? Like, there's plenty of like worthwhile information that's related to driving, but part of the joy of driving is to like look at your environment and enjoy the process of driving, not being distracted. So this is what I mean about an operating system, where there is aspects of smart information. Like, it'd be nice to have smart lights or smart light switches, things like that. think this gives a pretty good overview for the moment.